of the transit advocacy world. We have, of course, TransitCenter, who is invaluable in producing this report, so yay, TransitCenter. We're also joined by our friends at Transportation Alternatives, our friends at Riders Alliance, and at Tri-State Transportation Campaign. So thank you everybody again for being here today. Now, as you probably know, subways have dominated the news the past few days, and for very good reason. But buses have been, sorry. Want to stick it there, yeah. Are we good? All right. It's a little top heavy. Maybe put it below. Okay. All right, off to a great start. We're good. So subways have been in crisis. They've dominated the news the past few days, but our bus system has been in crisis for years now, for decades. Despite having the largest bus network in the country, New York City is home to the slowest buses in North America, moving at an average speed of about 7 miles an hour. And bus bunching as well is a chronic problem here in New York. Buses showing up 2 or 3 at a time means that waiting for the bus just becomes a guessing game for riders, and that bus schedules are merely a suggestion, not a good indication of when a bus will actually arrive. And at best, poor performing buses are an inconvenience to riders, but at worst they can lead to hours-long commutes, they can lead to missed doctor's appointments, to late childcare pickups, and even lost wages. Bus riders are forced to budget a significant amount of time out of their day just in anticipation of their bus to arrive, or getting stuck in traffic each day. And while most of our buses here in New York City are in desperate need of a turnaround, there are a few buses in particular that perform so poorly, they're just so bad, that they're worthy of an award, tongue-in-cheek award. So with that, let's get to the Pokies. All right, the first award that we want to issue is our 16th annual Pokey Award. The Pokey is given to the slowest high ridership bus route in New York City. And the uncoveted award is a snail on a pedestal. And to issue our first award, our 16th annual Pokey Award, I would like to introduce Tom from Transportation Alternatives to announce the winner.
All right, Jackie, thank you so much. Now, have a little dramatic pause. Probably of no surprise to anyone who has ridden it, the M14A wins the Pokey Award.
Thank you, Tom. So the M14A is our slowest bus of the year, moving at 4.3 miles an hour, which is well below the city average. It's an excruciating pace. With that, I want to introduce Mary Buchanan from TransitCenter to speak more about how we got to this award. Mary.
Great, thanks, Jackie. So we used real-time data from MTA bus time to examine weekday, midday, New York City Transit bus data in May 2019. We considered 62 local routes with at least 10,000 weekday riders, according to MTA's 2018 estimates for these awards. So we also calculated average route speed as the total mileage traveled divided by total time in hours. The estimates include time spent at stops. We also examined July 2019 data to assess the new select bus service on the M14A and M14D. We found that both M14s had sped up since select bus service started on July 1st, but the routes are still among the system's slowest. The underwhelming improvements are most definitely because the dedicated 14th Street busway, a treatment essential to speeding up service, was blocked and hasn't been in effect. Though the M14A takes the prize for the pokiest bus route with a creeping speed of 4.3 miles per hour, its service isn't an anomaly. Today's Pokey winners, the 15 slowest high ridership local routes, all travel at or under 5 miles per hour. These routes carry over 275,000 daily riders across our crowded city streets, slower than carnival bumper cars would, and definitely not as fun.
Thank you, Mary. All right, and with that, we're going to announce our 2019 Schleppy Awards. The Schleppy if you're not familiar with Yiddish, the Schleppy is awarded to the bus with the worst bunching, meaning that there's great gaps in service between when it shows up. Bus bunching is when 2 or more buses show up at the same time, which can be very frustrating for riders who have long waits before their bus arrives. And so with that, we're going to announce Stephanie from Riders Alliance to issue the award. Stephanie.
All right, so this year's 2019 Schleppy Award goes to the B15. That is 20% bunched. B15.
Woo! All right, and Mary, do you want to? Yeah. So I'll just explain how we got to the B15. We calculated bunching as the percentage per route of buses that arrives within 25% of the scheduled headway after the bus in front of them. So for riders, as Jackie mentioned, bunching means that there's a large unscheduled gap in service followed by 2 or more buses that show up to a stop at the same time. The B15 is the Schleppy winner with 20% of buses arriving bunched, or about 1 in 5. But we also recognize today 9 Schleppy routes in total that bunch at least 15% of the time, or once every 7 buses. This is more than a weekly inconvenience for these routes' 200,000 daily riders. In reality, these riders can never count on their bus arriving on time and must factor in a possible delay when scheduling every single trip. So roller coaster cars, they should come in bunches, and I'd take 2 or more scoops of ice cream together at any time, but not 2 B15s.
Thank you, Mary. Now I want ice cream. All right, and last but not least, certainly not least, we have a brand new award this year, the Lifetime Depreciation Award. This is going to a bus that has frequently been a winner of our annual Pokey Awards because it's so slow. But such slow speeds, say that 3 times fast, slow bus speeds have caused many riders to abandon service on this route altogether, and so it no longer qualifies as a high ridership route and qualifies for the Pokies. And simply put, riders are mad as hell and they're not taking it anymore. So with that, we are going to call Liam Blank from Tri-State to issue the Lifetime Depreciation Award.
Okay, this year's award goes to, let's see, no surprise here, the M42.
Boom! Thank you, Liam.
So the Lifetime Depreciation Award recognizes one route with service so consistently poor that many fed-up riders have stopped taking it. This year, the M42 is our winner. It has lost 5,000 daily riders, or a third of its total ridership, from 2012 to 2018. And its average speed hasn't cracked 4 miles per hour over that whole period. M42's ridership has dipped so low that it's no longer eligible for the Pokey Awards, which it's won 5 times in the past. Meanwhile, system-wide, thousands of New Yorkers on dozens of routes across the system have had enough of subpar bus service. And in 2018, 10,000 fewer riders took local routes than in 2017.
Midtown, from the east side to the west side. Oh, yeah, crosstown 42nd. Yeah, it doesn't go. That's the problem, exactly. All right, so thank you, everyone. And in closing, hearing how slow and how unreliable our buses are in New York City can feel disheartening for many riders. But all hope is not lost. Right now, New York City Transit has committed to a redesign of its entire bus network in all 5 boroughs, and the New York City Department of Transportation has committed to installing 10 to 15 new miles of bus lanes, per year over the next few years. But these projects cannot become a reality without the full support of our communities and our legislators, both here in Albany and here in New York City. And President Byford of New York City Transit was right when he recently said that we can't just make the buses levitate, unfortunately. But what we can do, and what we must do as a city, is give 2 million bus riders the right of way on our streets, especially our most congested streets. We cannot keep punting on real change for riders. And so I think these awards make that evident. And with that, we open up to questions. With that, we open up to comments from our esteemed guests who are here. So Tom DeVito from Transportation Alternatives. Tom.
Thanks again. I just want to point out that we have a lot of wonderful folks here dressed to the nines, and we have a red carpet laid out on 14th Street for buses for all these wonderful people, and it is not being activated right now because of a frivolous lawsuit that is holding one of the most revolutionary improvements in transit that New York City has seen in recent years hostage. So we need to make sure that that project moves forward. Tens of thousands of New Yorkers are relying on it. And more broadly, New York City has to be able to reclaim street space away from extremely inefficient single occupancy vehicles in order to make sure that buses can move faster. Thank you.
Great. Next, I'd like to invite Stephanie Burgos-Veras from Riders Lens.
Steph Burgos-Veras. So as we're here today to give out these awards, and that we see that walking or elephants or manatees are faster than our buses, that should be a big red flag, and we should be, as the award, mad as hell, because I think that's exactly when our buses and our public transportation is failing, when an animal or an elephant can take us to our destination quicker. And so like Tom said, we have a red carpet here on 14th Street that we should be using, and riders should have priorities because tens of thousands of bus riders are stuck, and they're missing opportunities, and they can't get to their destinations faster. So let's go ahead and make sure that next year the M14 is not getting the Pokey Award, and that we're making sure that these awards, that buses are getting better, so they no longer have to get these awards. So thank you so much, and we look forward to fighting the fight for better buses.
Thank you. And lastly, I'd like to introduce Liam Blank. Yeah, Liam Blank from Tri-State Transportation Campaign.
Good morning, my name is Liam Blank. I'm the Advocacy and Policy Manager for Tri-State Transportation Campaign, which is a nonprofit that's fighting for sustainable mobility in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. I'd like to thank TransitCenter and Straphangers Campaign for putting together this annual award ceremony to highlight the fact that thousands of New Yorkers continue to be stuck on slow and unreliable buses. The only way to solve this problem is through targeted interventions like dedicated bus lanes, which keep buses clear from traffic congestion, and we commend the city and the MTA to committing to adding 5 miles of dedicated bus lanes every year. After all, this is a tried and true lesson. When we prioritize better bus service, commuters prioritize taking the bus. As we continue the fight for equitable streets, right here on 14th Street, we're battling a small group of wealthy New Yorkers who are standing in the way of a busway that would benefit thousands of commuters. But we're not putting up with this small-minded and self-serving mentality anymore. Our public transit system is what keeps this city thriving, and millions of people rely on it daily. So let's not lose focus on what's for the greater good of our city. Thank you.
Thank you again so much, everybody. And with that, we'll open it up to questions. And I invite Mary and other advocates as well, if anybody wants to answer. Any questions? Yeah. Any noticeable improvements? You want to speak to that here?
So we actually did notice that compared to our Pokey and Schleppie winners last year, our set of winners this year had in fact improved. So speeds on the Pokey winners was on average a little bit faster, but some routes had seen noticeable improvement. Last year we awarded 15, I think, Schleppies, and this year we only awarded 9, and that award goes to 15% bunched or more. So that really bad bunching, buses that are at that level has decreased in the past year.
Right. No question. Oh, yeah.
Have you seen any difference in enforcement?
Well, we're thrilled to see that the state passed legislation this year in Albany to expand the use of automated enforcement of cameras mounted on buses. And so this is a big deal. The MTA has committed to putting these cameras, to rolling them out more on buses to keep bus lanes clear. They're piloting these cameras on a few buses already, but we're hopeful that we're going to see an expansion of this program. And the city, in its Better Buses Action Plan, has committed to a tow truck team to help better enforce bus lanes. So we're hopeful that this is going to get buses moving much more reliably and on time in the years to come.
Any suggestions that the city or the state for them
How to make all this better? Yeah, I mean, first of all, they should all check out the Bus Turnaround Campaign's reports, numerous reports at bustournaround.nyc. So we've been saying that this is a collaborative effort between the city and the state to improve bus service. And bus riders for years, there's 2 million bus riders that have felt ignored by both the city and the state. And so the two really have to work together. We're thrilled, as I mentioned before, to see the redesign of the bus's outdated network. The network has not been redesigned in half a century. And so the MTA has committed to really starting over and looking at outdated routes and re-implementing routes to match current commuting patterns. And the city has then put out its own complementary plan to add additional bus lanes, repair and sort of readapt the bus lanes that currently exist to make them better, and work alongside the MTA. And what we really want to see is the two agencies work closely together in implementing a full-scale plan.
The MTA said that they're cutting rush hour service in the B15 as well, which might help lifting. But is that the answer for you guys to help reduce the
Right. They're cutting I mean, I think, I don't think that's the answer for us, right? I think the answer is giving buses priority on streets, right? That is what we want to see happen to improve reliability and overall service, not cutting service. Any other questions? Great. Well, we have numerous bus riders here from all over the city. If you want to speak with anyone, we're also available to speak more. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, riders, and everybody, for being here today. And enjoy your day. Thanks, all.